Hi, how are you? My name's Beta, and today we're going to be talking about furry haters and anti-furries. Oh boy. You know, furry haters have always been so fascinating to me. Just from a very basic point of view. How are furry haters more obsessed with furries than actual furries? It's so bizarre and so crazy to me. Obviously, when I mention furry haters, like, the first thing that comes to mind for me are, like, the comments that I get on, like, YouTube Shorts and TikTok of, like, the accounts role-playing as, like, the Doom guy, or, like, the Space Marine Templar saying, like, "Yiff in hell, furries," and whatever insult we've heard for the past 10 or so years. Nothing's really changed, to be honest. The insults are still the same. If anything, a new trendy one has been fatherless behavior, but, like, that is the most ironic statement I've ever heard. Like, think about it. Coming from a furry hater, they're spending their time absorbing so much furry media, whether it's videos, photos, whatever it may be, and they're going out of their way to try and make furries feel bad with the comment, "fatherless behavior." That is just so extremely ironic to me. It's so funny. And it's also the same comments over and over again. So hopefully your definition of furry haters is the same as mine. Just random accounts that you're never going to interact with in person, that all they do is just harass furries in comment sections on social media or other furry media, and that's it. That's really it. There's nothing more to it. But I did want to talk about something that I have observed recently and found to have a common theme that somewhat lines up with furries. I don't know if any of you have seen it. I'll sometimes have accounts leaving the usual furry hate comments, role-playing as the Doom guy from Doom, the game, and it's crazy to me. Now, obviously, I see the whole Warhammer Space Marine thing as being a common theme, you know, just because of the Flash Gets animation and the whole saga going on behind that. People wanted to take it a step further and go after actual furries. It's kind of weird. Most people know that it's a parody, right? If anything, taking the whole Warhammer Space Marine 40K, whatever it is, I've never played the game, taking these characters and applying them to, like, a furry war with furries in a fictional universe at a very base level is fan fiction. So we're checking off the boxes so far. First one being roleplay, the second one being fan fiction. What do furries like? Well, they definitely like both of those things. You see what I'm hinting at here? We'll get onto it eventually though. But I don't know if it's just me, but I've seen this common theme where furry haters have somewhat adopted or hyper fixated on these video game fictional characters and projected their ideologies of furry distaste onto them. So the Doom guy, I don't know why, the Doom guy is, actually no, I can think about it now. Because, like, the Doom guy in some sense is trying to cleanse unholy demons. Like, he goes on a rampage, ripping and tearing at demons. Why? Well, there are a couple of theories on that. One is to protect humanity. The other is because his rabbit died. Look it up, it's apparently a thing. But with what I said about ripping and tearing demons and going on a rampage, just replace demons with furry in this context, and I feel like a lot of furry haters eat this shit up. So I guess it makes sense that the Doom guy is a character that furry haters use as sort of their role model in this case. But why do they do that? Why do they need a fictional sort of character to stand by to project their ideologies onto? If anything, that's kind of what furries do. You know, with really enjoying a new anthropomorphic animal character released by, like, I don't know, Pokemon or DreamWorks or Disney or whatever, but just in a different sense, not entirely the same thing as furry haters. But in the games, which I haven't played, Warhammer 40K or anything like that, I don't think the Space Marines have a distaste towards furries, let alone know about them. So again, it makes sense for me thinking that they're projecting their ideologies and thoughts and feelings of furries onto these characters that normally also don't have too many feelings. It's like you could universally apply anything to these characters. Because another character that I keep seeing brought up with regards to going against furries in a furry crusade is Master Chief too. And also Ghost from Call of Duty, but, like, actually I love Ghost. But it's just like, this is kind of weird, isn't it? Why do furry haters need characters that they're fascinated with to help project this message to furries? If anything, it's making them look a lot more sus. So that's what I want to talk about today, and really why these specific characters are chosen. From what I found with these characters that I mentioned, they have a lot in common. And surprisingly, these common traits actually line up with furries too. Let's talk about the characteristics. What do the Space Marines, Master Chief, the Doom guy, and even Ghost, we'll throw Ghost on this list, all have in common? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that they're all wearing helmets or masks. They're generally not showing their face. I mean, I think a couple of them have had their faces revealed or something in the games. I remember seeing a glimpse of Master Chief at the end of Halo 4 if you beat it on Legendary Solo. And I don't know what the Doom guy guy looks like outside of the helmet, but I remember from the original games it hyped him up being this faceless character that we didn't know about. But all in all, these helmets or masks that they wear are supposed to be these anonymous identifiers for these characters. The Space Marines, you recognize them by their helmet. Master Chief, you recognize him for the helmet that he wears too. Same with Ghost and same with the Doom guy. So they're wearing masks or helmets to sort of give a little of anonymity, but also give them a strict identifier for who they are. Where have I seen this before? I wonder. So we have that trait. What's next? Well, the second one that comes to mind for me is that they are all built, like physically built or strong or buff in some way. Like look at the Doom guy, for example. I mean, his design literally shows his built and buff arms. He is an absolute unit. Master Chief, well, fuck, he fell from space and lived. We don't see too much of him outside of his armor, but a lot of people like that. The Warhammer Space Marines, I mean, we've all seen the Flash Gets animation. They look pretty built in general. And as for Ghost, well, I don't really know if he's strong, but we can assume so based on what the internet's done to him with throwing a six-pack on him, which I can't complain about at all. Also, that's another thing I've realized about these characters. They're all hunky men. I mean, yeah. Now, the third big trait I could think of is that they all use some form of military-grade weaponry or guns. Just some really cool guns or weapons in general. The Doom guy has an absurd amount of really cool weapons. I will admit it. He's got some really cool weapons. Same with Master Chief. Love the Halo series. I don't know about the Templars or Space Marines. I don't know anything about that universe or the actual lore behind it, but I'm sure knowing that they're a military power, they probably have some cool weaponry too. And Ghost, I mean, Ghost is just cool. We're just throwing Ghost in here because we love Ghost. And that's about it for all the common traits between them. I mean, maybe a fourth one is that they're all badass characters. Like, they're all meant to go on like a rampage and keep fighting. Like, yeah, they're pretty badass in general. They're just super cool and edgy, and I can get behind that. I love edginess. Nothing wrong with that at all. So we've got all these traits shared amongst these characters. What does this mean? Well, funny enough, all of these traits amongst all these characters are shared amongst furries. Not fursonas in their fictional universes, but furries in real life, in person, as people. And let me explain. First big thing, these characters wear a helmet or a mask. I mean, furries wear a fursuit. It's supposed to be some level of anonymity, of identity, of disguising who they are outside of the fursuit or their character. But also it gives a level of identification for who they are. You know, they are identifying as their character that they created. For example, I have Levi the German Shepherd, my own character. As a furry, I like to be known as him when I'm in fursuit. Does that mean I identify as a dog? No, but it really is supposed to help me identify as the character that I'm trying to be. Same thing with Master Chief and the Doom guy and the Warhammer Space Marines. That's the whole point of them keeping anonymous. Whether it's developers or storytellers' reasoning for using that, it's still how it is. So that's an easy comparison between these characters. Next up is that they're buff. I'm gonna be honest, there are a lot of really attractive furries. And I don't just mean their fursuits or their characters. I mean them as people. Oh my god. I guess to even go back to my video that I did on me wanting to work out and look good and feel good, I asked for some tips and advice on what I can do at the gym to better my workouts and to get into a better routine. And there were so many workout furries that DM'd me and messaged me saying, hey, you can do this, this, and this. And then I go to see their profile. I'm like, holy crap, you are ripped. They might not be chiseled to the extent of Doom guy or built like the Space Marines. As much as it's a stretch, it's what I notice. I know a lot of people can have different opinions and ideas on what is attractive or what isn't, but in that department, I think a lot of furries are underappreciating themselves. Now, as for the third thing of military weaponry, I mean, I know a lot of furries that enjoy weapons, that are interested in it. I also know a lot of furries that are in the military. It's pretty impressive, the amount. And the final big one being that these characters are badass as hell. I'm gonna be honest, furries are pretty badass outside of their fursonas. I mean, their fursonas are pretty cool and pretty badass. Like someone creating a character that's supposed to have some deep meaning to their original person or something that means a lot to them. I think that's metal AF. Even outside of the furry hobby, furries are actually really cool with the jobs they do. I know this is going back to the whole furries in the STEM program and having some really proficient jobs out there that pretty much maintain society as we know it. It's like having a conversation with a random furry that I know. Oh, hey, what do you do? Oh, well, I am a cryptographer. I make sure this infrastructure stays up, and I make sure that, you know, any security breaches don't really happen. I do the whole what if and think worst case scenario and make sure that everything here is working and nothing breaks. They just simply said it. It was like another thing they do. I know some computer science friends who are really deep into coding, who know what they're doing, who won't even touch cryptography because they feel like they're not qualified for it. But some furries just do it like it's an everyday thing. A lot of furries are in IT, engineering, some are doctors and nurses. A bunch of them are lawyers, and there's even a furry that helped research one of the COVID vaccines. That's just crazy in a great way. So furries, just in a sense of living in the real world, are pretty incredible and pretty badass. I mean, even personally, despite being a YouTuber and content creator full-time, being able to do this, I still have my Bachelor's of Science degree in mechanical engineering, so there's got to be something from that, even though I'm not using it at this moment. Actually, that's not true. I have some projects I'm working on the side, so be on the lookout for that. So with all of these traits that we found in common in furries with these fictional characters that furry haters seem to look up to and love and sort of project their furry hater ideologies onto, it almost seems like, with all I've said, that furry haters and anti-furries might actually be furries, or rather, furries in the making, which I will talk about that whole claim in another big video. It's one small thing we mentioned today that is some aspect to furry haters and anti-furries that I've realized, but it could very well lead to that. I mean, just at a base level, they have a fascination with a fictional character, kind of like a hyperfixation on it. I'm just gonna say this for a lot of furries out there. Having an interest or fascination in a specific fictional character is how it all starts. I'm just saying. I know it's comparing apples to oranges here, but it's still within the same field of furry. I know all this sounds so conspiracy theory level, but you gotta keep in mind what I asked in the beginning. How are furry haters more obsessed with furries and furry media than actual furries? It's almost like they're bigger fans of the community than us. But still, this is all just food for thought. So for any furries out there who post on any form of social media, specifically like YouTube Shorts and TikTok, if you get a furry hate comment, keep a note of if it's coming from an account that's either role-playing as the Doom guy or they mention the Doom guy in any way, shape, or form. And this goes for any of the characters that we mentioned today. And there are probably several others that fit into this criteria that I haven't even mentioned. So keep a note of it next time and let me know if you see anything like that. Or also, if you happen to get one of these comments, send it to me on Twitter so I can use it in the future for any other video with regards to this topic. Because honestly, I want to build up this idea that furry haters are secretly just furries, but they don't know it yet. Not all of them, but I feel like some of them are with how obsessed they are with furry media. So if you happen to find any of this stuff, feel free to send it to me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at BetaEtaDelota. Link is in the description, but that's about gonna do it for me here. Sorry this video didn't have that much organization or transition into whatever I was talking about. It was just more so freeform. I thought of this like 30 minutes ago and wanted to share it with you all because, hey, why not? But if you enjoyed it and you want more of these videos, be sure to let me know in the comments. And also, let me know your thoughts on all of this. If I missed anything that I could add for a future installment of this, because I feel like this series might be something neat to go into. But either way, any feedback on this is greatly appreciated. That's about gonna do it for me here today. Thank you so much for watching. Do all the stuff with leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. But as always, stay life jacket, guys. Take care.